about it. Okay, it looks like we are live, everybody. Welcome to the Seahawk Boys. We are the Seahawk Boys. I'm Mike, Seahawk Boy Mike. That is Seahawk Boy Dave. We are Seahawks fans. God, we got a messy. Look at how messy that is.
That's all your shit.
No, it's yours. You got to clean that up. We are the Seahawk Boys, and this is our fearless and stupid NFL mock draft 2.0. It's a 2-round mock draft.
2 rounds.
Trades are allowed, but they're very difficult to do because this software is so stupid. But we are going to do it anyway. Probably not going to mock any trades.
Yeah, there might be a trade.
There might be a trade. We will try to make a trade. And we're going to go through the same thing we did before, which is that each of us is going to draft for every NFL team through the first and second round. Try to figure out who's doing what, who should do what.
Right.
With a focus on the Seahawks. And then next week, the NFL draft actually starts next Thursday. Round 1 is a week from
week
12, 10 days, 9 days from now.
Yep.
And Dave and I are going to be doing a 7-round Seahawks only mock draft where there will be trades involved because the computer will generate trade offers and things like that. And it'll be fun. And then up comes the NFL draft on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday when we actually see what our beloved but fucked up team does with the NFL draft. Kimberly Reck is here. Hey, love you.
I can.
We have a whole 10 people watching right now. We should probably pre-advertise these things, but we decided very spontaneously to do it.
And we talked about it a little today, and then I just came out, had my dinner, and
let's
do it.
And then mainly the big problem that I have is that I don't actually have any videos on Mike Barrett 333, so I thought we would do this, which nobody could possibly object to or delete my channel because of, and just leave it up there so we actually have a video on Mike Barra 333. So with that said, these are the ground rules. Ground rules are we're going to use the NFL mock draft simulator from Pro Football Network, which I think is probably the best. We also have another value board that we use for players that we like and other people like. God, there's only 4 people left already. You don't want to watch us? And the other thing is, by the way, to everybody, it's still Toxically Masculine Tuesday.
Yeah,
so, you're going to get your football whether you like it. I have to get bigger because you look bigger than me. Because
you're
closer to the camera. Our heads are actually exactly the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
The same.
They're different shapes, but they're exactly the same size.
There you go. So
mine looks twice as
big. Everything about you looks twice as big. So I refuse to accept that Russell Wilson is no longer our quarterback. I am going to go with Russell Wilson. So that's what we're going to do. Those are the rules. We're going to set it up, and you can watch us try to be as entertaining as humanly possible.
Yeah, and we're going to switch it up this time, too. And last time I won the coin flip, I took the even-numbered team, so I got the number...
0.999 silver.
Yeah, fine silver.
Fine silver.
I got the number 1 pick. I also got to pick the Seahawks pick at number 9 and their second round pick at number 41. This time we're going to flip it. Mike's going to take the number 1 pick.
I'm just going to take the odd picks, and you're going to take the even picks, and we're going to go.
Yeah, and we're going to try to
go from that
to make some sense out of it.
All right. So what we are going to do is try to do our screen share here and see if this works.
There we go.
We can put that light on, but now it's really super bright in here.
Well, I thought I was kind of dark.
You're not dark.
You need me to not be pasty, or is that what?
Well, you're just like, look at how washed out I am now. Turn it on. There's a very specific lighting in this room, and there's some beautiful natural light coming in. So Chrome, tab. We're gonna pick the NFL mock draft simulator. Just want to make sure what we look like. That's what we look like. That's freaking awesome. So we're gonna go over here. So select your teams. We are going to go select all. We are going to go number of rounds. We are going to go 2, and we are going to say, let's draft. So I am on the board as the Jacksonville Jaguars with the number 1 overall pick. And the Jaguars could go a lot of different ways. By the way, they also have a cool team needs here thing. Basically, the Jaguars have the number 1 pick because they need just about everything except a franchise quarterback. But the emphasis is offensive tackle, edge, wide receiver, offensive guard, defensive tackle. Trevor Lawrence is an excellent young quarterback. There is the temptation to just draft Evan Neal, who's probably the best offensive tackle, as a guy to protect him. They already have Cam Robinson at left tackle. They've franchise tagged him.
But Rob Satan has pointed out that he thinks both Evan Neal and Ike Ekwonu, the top 2 rated tackles, could end up playing inside at guard. So potentially an Evan Neal on the left side could end up with it. They could end up with a dominating left side offensive line.
That is one thing that they could do, but
I'm arguing for the Detroit Lions right now.
I'm curious if but now they also need an edge rusher. They have their pick of the crop. The consensus number one right now is Aiden Hutchinson, and unless somebody makes me a trade offer, I'm gonna probably take him. So I'm just waiting.
Ring ring.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you gonna propose a trade, or what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna propose a trade? All right. Okay. So the two teams are going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes.
We're going to pick them.
And we're going to go over to the National
Football Conference.
And we're going to pick the Detroit Lions. And
pick it?
Yes, the Lions. We're going to offer you 2.
Okay.
And 32.
Okay.
Actually, well, let's drop that to 34 because most teams don't want multiple first-round contracts for whatever
right
reason.
Because you have to pay a fifth-year there's a fifth-year
right.
option involved, which is only good for a quarterback. And
we're also going to offer the 97th pick,
97th overall pick, so that leaves you with a
bonus
second,
third round
and a third. You want to offer anything over here on the 2023 side, like your entire draft, to see if we can get
you know what, let's give them the,
because here's the problem.
No, let's give them the Rams first. Well, okay,
the software
yeah,
it's stupid, and it doesn't allow you to accept your own trade. So that's the proposal.
Let me talk about the logic, though, behind it. The 2, obviously, they want to move up to 1. Why do they want to move up to 1? They want to get Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson is the number 1 edge rusher on most boards across the country, and also he's more local. He's a local hero, and that what I think assists the Lions franchise tremendously. So that's why they're making this offer. But basically, they're swapping 2 for 1 and giving up the number 34.
You're giving up 34, 97, and 2 to get 1, which may or may not add up. Let's see if the computer accepts it. Yes, proposes trade. Here's declining. All right. It's so stupid. Let's try it again. It's so stupid because it just really is. Let's try it one more time. Maybe it was declining on behalf of the Lions, giving up too much. Yeah. You're like, Lions say no.
So pick a team and propose a trade. Let's pick the Lions first.
Okay.
This time.
All right. Let's pick the Lions first.
Right.
And then we'll pick the Jaguars. And we will go next. And we will go 2, 34, and 97 for 1. Whoops, didn't get 97. And try it again. Yes. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I am going to take the player that I would take at number 2, number 1, and then you're going to take Aiden Hutchinson, number 1.
Yes, the Jaguars did accept the trade.
Yes.
The Lions are picking number 1, but they're going to pick 2 in this.
The Jaguars have to build around Trevor Lawrence as their quarterback. They're going to take, by the way, you have 10 minutes on the clock. We're not going to take the full 10 minutes on the clock like the teams do, but this is a exceptionally long one. But yeah, we're going to go with Evan Neal as our number 1 pick. And then who are the Lions taking?
The Lions are taking Aiden
Hutchinson, the edge rusher. Edge rusher. So now we're at pick number 3. And we have the Houston Texans, who have a lot of needs. And if you kind of look at their team needs, I guess the question is it more on the offensive side of the ball, or is it more on the defensive side of the ball? Where they could only score a few points, like 16 points against the Seahawks. But edge is one of their top needs. Edge, quarterback, wide receiver, safety, quarterback. So what they're going to do is they're going to take what they consider to be the...
Now, keep in mind, the Texans have a second first-round pick at number 13.
And they can get...
Due to the trade, the Deshaun
Watson trade, but they can get both their needs filled on offense and defense. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Travon Walker from Georgia, the second edge rusher, comes off the board, and the Jets are up at number 4 with their own pick with a lot of needs. So let's take a look at their needs. Jets going to do. If you look at the Jets, obviously they have to build around their quarterback. It basically talks safety, linebacker, cornerback, edge, and tight end.
That's not how I would put their needs, but
in a top 10 situation like this, you're going to want to take a player, obviously, who's an impact player.
Here's the thing about the Jets. The Jets have a ton of picks, partially due to the Seahawks trade for Jamal Adams. So they have 2 first-round picks at number 4 and number 10. They have 2 second-round picks at, I believe, 35 and 38, and a third-round pick, which I think is 69.
We can click on it right here. They have 4, 10, 35, 38, 69, 11, 117, 146, and 163. So all of their picks are basically in the top 150 with the exception of one, which is really a pretty good situation because the value in the draft is from about 10. It's about 10 to 100. That's where you're going to find your future starters and stars. So,
but I think the Jets are going to go on developing one side of the ball in the first round of the draft. And I think that side of the ball is probably going to be the defense. Because they can still get offensive players to help out with their new quarterback in the second round.
Right.
So who is the number 3 player on the board right now? In my opinion, there's a lot of good defensive players they could take. Kayvon Thibodeau, guy has got skinny. I have thicker calves and legs than this guy. And this guy's talking about being a top 10 pick in the.
And there was another edge rusher from Oregon a few years ago,
Deion
Jordan, who played for the Seahawks, who had the same issue. Looked great in college, but he had the skinniest calves, skinny legs, couldn't get the push, and was very average.
Yeah, very average. So the Jets, I think, are going to go for the best defensive player on the board, and I think that happens to be Ahmad Sauce Gardner, the cornerback from Cincinnati. The Jets, when they had some success, they had Darrelle Revis. I think they want to recreate that, and I know that their coach, whatever his name is, Robert Saleh.
Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
Saleh.
The brother of
Mohamed Saleh. That's not true. Yeah. If you're watching Christian Hellwig, it's not true. Okay, so now we're sitting here with the New York Giants at number 5. They have a lot of different team needs, mostly offensively. They're terrible offensively. They can't block. They don't have any receivers. They don't have any running backs. There is no top 10 value wide receiver in this draft as far as I'm concerned. Certainly nobody's going to take a running back this high unless his name is Saquon Barkley like they did 3 years ago, and that's a huge mistake. And they're stuck with his contract. So as you look at the Giants, I think clearly
look at their needs. It's tackle, center, guard. I mean, so they need everything on the offensive line, plus a wide receiver.
So we're going to just drop down here and take Ike Ekwonu, the next tackle, whether he's a center, guard, or tackle, and I think he can be a tackle. A lot of people don't, but I do. He's going to be the tackle out of North Carolina State to start shoring up their offensive line. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because the Carolina Panthers are desperately in need of a quarterback. They passed on one last year in the draft. Mac Jones was probably a better prospect than any of the quarterback prospects in this draft, which consist of Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Matt Corral, Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder, and then it gets really shitty after that. So what are they going to do? Are they going to finally just like take a risk and take a quarterback, or what are you going to do?
Well, let's go back to the big board.
Yep.
The Panthers are going to panic is what they're going to do.
They always do.
Their only quarterback at $18.8 million a year is Sam Darnold, who is pretty much terrible. Malik Willis, everybody agrees, has tremendous talent and upside, but is not ready to play right away. So
very raw, but they said the same kind of things about Lamar Jackson.
Right. So the Panthers are going to be terrible again next year, because they'll either have a very raw rookie quarterback or a very bad fifth-year quarterback.
Right.
So this pick is, I guess, really to me a no-brainer. They're going to reach. They're going to take the big risk. They're going to try to hit the home run, and they're going to take Malik Willis.
Wow, they're going to
quarterback from Liberty. I just don't see any other way around it. I don't see how they get better unless they can hit a home run.
I do not have him as a top 10 pick.
I don't have him really as even a top 20 guy.
Yeah, late first round, kind of where Lamar Jackson went, pick number 30.
Yeah,
I think
30, 32, something like that. He was the last pick in the.
He was 30, I believe.
30?
Yeah, I believe he was 30. But anyway, okay, so now we're back to the New York Giants. So the Giants would like to trade out of one of these two picks. There's no way around it. They'd like to go, logically, they would go offense, defense, but like the other teams, they have early second-round picks where they can look at offensive players, and you have to look at where the talent in this draft is. And they took an offensive tackle at the beginning. They still need more offensive linemen, that kind of thing. But really, outside of Charles Cross, there's nobody on the offensive line that's probably worth taking in the top 10. And I don't think he's a top 10 player. So do you take a corner, what do you do? Look, the best player on the board that's left is Kayvon Thibodeau out of Oregon. They take the chance, try to get the pass rusher.
Really?
This is the next best player on the board according to everybody's evaluations, regardless of the size of his calves.
Okay.
So up next, and this is another situation where it gets really weird. What are the Atlanta Falcons going to do? The Falcons are up. Hi, Jenny girl. How are you? Hey, Peter Crossman, give us a winning team. What team, Peter? What's your team? Let us know.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's look at the team needs.
So as we go to the team needs screen, don't you know what the Falcons team needs are?
Yeah, but I want to see just beyond
in terms
quarterback.
In terms of Atlanta, where are the Falcons? Where are they?
Right there, middle. So they have edge, wide receiver, running back, cornerback, linebacker. Now they're not listing quarterback as a need.
But yeah,
and the reason why is because they signed Marcus Mariota, a former number 2 overall pick.
Right.
With the Tennessee Titans, who got kind of run out of there and has spent the last couple of years with the Raiders. By all sense, he's still got some gravitas as an NFL quarterback and could be successful. It could be a reclamation project. Are they going to risk taking a quarterback this high? My answer flatly is no. This is where,
especially with Malik Willis gone, if Willis was there, they might think about that.
Right. This is where they get smart and they go get an edge rusher. And that edge rusher is Jermaine Johnson.
Right.
The edge rusher from Florida State.
Ranked 12th or 13th in this situation, but actually is considered, if you look at...
He's pretty much a top 10.
He's a top 10 pick. If you look at the edge guys that are listed here from Rob Staten's Seahawks draft blog, he's definitely a top... He's a first-round grade, absolutely a first-round grade. And
right.
In fact, all the players off the board are first-round grades so far. So, all right.
Which is the easy part of the draft.
Now we come to our pick, my pick, the Seattle Seahawks. And I don't want this pick. So what are we going to do? Who's calling? Who's calling? Who's calling?
The Pittsburgh Steelers are on the phone.
Oh, the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the phone. So they are going to propose a trade.
They are.
And who are they going to, what are they going to make in terms of trade proposal for my 9th overall pick?
Well, the Steelers desperately wanted Malik Willis. Actually, you know what? The Steelers just hung up the phone. They changed their minds.
They did. Yes. Okay. All right.
Ring, 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 ring.
Okay, so now who's calling? Ring. That's gay. Stop it. Now who's calling?
It is the New Orleans Saints.
The New Orleans Saints are going to make a trade proposal to the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, let's go do that. What is their trade proposal for number 9?
The Saints are going to offer the number 16 pick, the number 49 pick in the second round, and a 4th rounder in 2023.
Okay. New Orleans 4th.
To Seattle for the number 9 pick, because they have a very specific player they're trying to land, because their current quarterback is Jameis Winston.
All right. So we are going to make that proposal, and it's going to be declined. This thing is so stupid.
So the Seahawks have to pick, Mike. Let's just move on.
Well, the Packers don't want to trade up. Okay, so like here's the situation. With the 9th overall pick, what the Seahawks needs are pretty much everywhere. So they have some quarterbacks they like. They have some, but they don't want the guys that they would take here. The only guy who's worth taking here at number 9 is Jordan Davis of Georgia. But they don't have a big need at defensive tackle. They have 3 or 4. They're going to go to more of a 34 look this year. They have 3 big guys. They could really use an edge, but all of the edge guys that they wanted have just been snapped up right in front of them. So that's not going to happen. They're not going to have a big game record guy. The best player still on the board is Kyle Hamilton of Notre Dame, but he's a safety, and they don't need a safety. They have 2 of the best safeties in the NFL.
And they have 2 backups that are, one's a second-round pick, and the other one, Ryan Neal. Ryan Neal's backup.
Well,
very good.
Yeah, the Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams, if you would let me finish my initial thought, are probably the best pair of safeties in the NFL. And safety's not a high-value position, so that's why he's sliding. So the only guy we're taking here really is Jordan Davis. Now, they also have a perceived need at cornerback, not quarterback, although they have a need at quarterback. But they have there is a perception that they need a corner. I don't entirely agree with that. I think that they have a lot of players on the roster that they kind of like at the outside corner position. They're going to change the way they're going to play this year. And although Darryl Stingley is the top value guy at number 9, Derek Stingley is the top value guy at number 9. He's only 6 feet tall. He's not that special in the size department, which we know the Seahawks like. So I think they're going to throw everything out of whack. They're stuck here. They're panicking. The phone's not ringing like it probably really will on draft day. They would love to trade down, but this stupid thing won't let us make a trade. Hi, Sophia. Stop trying to sell me your porn pics. Can I propose one more trade and see if it'll go through?
Absolutely.
Because we do have 10 minutes.
What I'm saying here, though, too, there are players on the board that I would not be shocked if the Seahawks would take if they were in this position in the draft. Jordan Davis is one of them.
Right.
They could take Charles Cross. They could take Derek Stingley Jr., but probably not. But the big surprise, I think they could take George Karlaftis, the short-armed kind of edge guy, because he's just such a high work rate guy. But if I were in this position, and I'm not, since I'm not the Seahawks, you're the Seahawks.
Yeah, you would take Stingley.
I would. No, I would.
Who would you
I would take Matt Corral. I would take the top quarterback that I think that they like. Because what's the point? At this point in the draft, there's no point in not taking a guy.
Yeah, Matt right.
At that position.
But that would be an incredible.
If you're going to reach, you may as well reach for a quarterback.
That would be an incredible reach. So Kansas City Chiefs are going to call, and they are going to say, hey, we want that 9th overall pick because there's a guy that we want really, really bad. And we are going to make a proposal to the Seattle Seahawks. And our proposal is going to be our 2 first-round picks, 29 and 30, for 9.
You got to pick 30. You've got to pick 30. You didn't pick 30.
I thought I did pick 30.
No, you didn't.
All right. Kansas City Chiefs are going to do this. And they're going to trade with the Seahawks. And this is probably not going to go through either. 4-9. And it's going to be declined. Because they're always fucking declined on this fucking thing. So I'm stuck here. I'm drafting. I'm going to take a guy that I really, really like. It's not a quarterback, even though we desperately need a quarterback. But I'm hoping and praying, based on news that I'm hearing, that we will have traded for Baker Mayfield by this time.
Oh.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do something, and we're going to shock some people. And we're going to take Zion Johnson, the guard/center from Boston College, who is an explosive interior player, the kind of guy the Seahawks really, really love. He fits all of their typical Pete Carroll type of qualities, and he is ranked. Let's see, he's ranked as a 2nd-round pick by
1 to 2.
First or second round. But he's going to go number 9. And the Seahawks, let's face it, they love making a stir in the draft, so that's what they're going to do with.
They do, and Zion Johnson. Look,
he's going to be a terrific football player. He actually Staten said that Zion Johnson is the best interior guard prospect he's seen in 15 years.
Okay, great.
And they need that. They could get rid of
what they need is they need somebody who can handle Aaron Donald. They also need someone who can stop what was the most consistent play in the last 3, 4, 5 years of the Seahawks. Offensive play, and that is the guys coming through completely unblocked right through the middle of the line and either sacking or
to destroy Russell
Wilson. And it's just they've never addressed that, and it would be great to see them address that.
Okay, the New York Jets, you get to pick for the Jets again, are back on the clock. Hey, Jenny girl, being from New Orleans, I really miss loving football. I'm doing my best getting past the politics. However, I love it if you two still have such passion for it. Well, we do. We'll see after what we have to go through as Seahawks fans this year, is how much we're gonna love it. But
we love the game. We don't necessarily love our team right now.
The Wolfhawks.
And we don't necessarily love the people that are running the National Football League.
No. Although I do understand that Jerry Jones and Daniel Snyder despise Roger Goodell, think he's a complete fuck up, and can't wait to get rid of him. So if the currency thing goes through and we become NFL team owners, right, we'll join that crowd and try to get rid of them. Okay, the Jets are on the clock at number 10. They went defense at number 4. Look, They already went in a defensive secondary, so Kyle Hamilton doesn't seem like a fit here. Jordan Davis, the gigantic, potentially next Aaron Donald, is there. There's also Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver from Ohio State. Get some stuff for Zach Wilson to throw to, somebody to throw to. Who are they going to go with? What are they going to do? They're going to pick a corner.
My original thought, the Jets' original thought, was that they were going to go defense in the first round, offense in the second round.
Right.
But looking at this board, no one has really slid through that they would like to take. Jordan Davis would be a very good fit, except they have a guy named Leonard Williams who's been on their team.
Already have a great defensive tackle.
Adding another one wouldn't necessarily help, and there are no really top-end edge guys. So on defense, if I'm looking at this board, I'm looking at Devin Lloyd, the linebacker from Utah, but I'm not taking him.
Okay.
Because that's the only guy I would think could be a breakthrough type of defensive player. So we're going to have to change up what we're going to do. And we're going to go ahead and take an offensive player, and we're going to go ahead and take where is he? What did you do with them?
Who are you looking for?
Charlie Cross, the offensive tackle from Mississippi State, to protect their quarterback, which they took number two or number three overall.
They took number 2 overall last year. Zach Wilson is their quarterback. I think
that's the only move I think they can make.
That's not a bad move, although I agree that Charles Cross is a bit overrated. He's still a really good player. Okay, the Washington Commandos, also known as the Redskins. The Washington Redskins are not even gonna. This card is in 5 minutes. They're not gonna look at any trade offers. They're gonna simply take Jordan Davis, Georgia, because they already have on the outside. They have the number 2 overall pick from a couple years ago. Chase. Whatever his name is, Chase. He's a good player.
He's an Ohio State guy.
This
is what happens when you hit your 40s.
52.
Yeah,
when you become 52, that's what happens. They're going to take Jordan Davis. They're not even going to think about it. I know at this point who the Vikings should take right here. The question is, what will the Vikings take?
Well, here's the thing. The Vikings really wanted Jordan Davis, but they weren't willing to trade up to get him. They would have had to trade with Seattle. They would have had to trade with maybe Atlanta, but Atlanta wasn't really trading. So having lost Jordan Davis, 1 pick ahead of them to the Washington, whatever they are,
Redskins.
I wanted Washington Rough Riders. I thought that would, like a Teddy Roosevelt kind of, that would be cool.
Yeah.
But what they're going to do, I believe, is they're going to take what's probably the best player left on the board. And that is safety Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame.
Yep.
And the reason why is that
they're playing
Harrison Schmidt.
They're paying a shitload of money to Harrison Smith.
He sucks. He's always sucked. I don't know why he's
so
rated
overrated.
as high as he is.
He's
so overrated.
Yeah.
So Kyle Hamilton will be the real deal.
Yeah.
And they can get rid of Harrison.
I think that's a good call. And I'm as a Texan, as the Houston Texans, I'm upset because I kind of coveted him there. Man. But at this point, I have no choice. But look, I'm the Houston Texans.
They took Trayvon Walker, edge at number 3.
They took the edge at number 3. I'd like to take a wide receiver here, but I think there's going to be some value late in the first. Maybe I can trade up and do that. No, they're going to take Derek Stingley Jr., who some people think is the best corner. They think he's better than Sauce Gardner, who went number 4. They're going to be really happy he fell into their hands. They're going to take him, and they're going to continue to build on the defensive side of the ball. All right. Baltimore Ravens are up. They have actually quite a few picks in the top 100. They have 6 or, they got a lot of good picks.
A lot of 4th rounders.
Yep.
Late 3rd, early 4th rounders.
They're doing good. They're doing good, and they are happy. So who are the Baltimore Ravens going to take? And do you want to look at their team needs? Obviously, if you look at the Ravens, offensive tackle, cornerback, defensive tackle, offensive guard, wide receiver. What are you going to do?
This would be a great spot to take the first wide receiver off the board.
Yep.
They're not going to do that. This is a team that thrives on the pass rush. They lost Matthew Judon to the Patriots, I believe.
Yep.
I don't know why they let that happen, but they did. They need someone who's going to work hard on the defensive line every single play. And he may have short arms like Steve Niehaus, the former Seahawk.
Unlike a T-Rex.
But he works very, very hard. His work rate is tremendous. He's got really a lot of talent. His name is George Karlaftis from Purdue. He's big, explosive, he's powerful, and that's going to be the pick for the Baltimore Ravens.
All right, now we are down to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have 2 firsts and a second, and so they're doing pretty good. They traded with
2/3, it looks like.
They traded with the New Orleans Saints, and look, they're looking for a lot of different stuff: cornerbacks, wide receivers. The corners that are worth taking here are off the board, but they have their pick.
Oh, are they?
Yes, they are. They have their pick of the litter when it comes to speed and wide receivers. And even though he's injured, he's super explosive. I think they take Garrett Wilson from Ohio State. Think he's going to be healthy at some point this season, and boom, they have upgraded their wide receiver core. And now the New Orleans Saints are on the board.
Tried to trade up with the Seahawks
to get a quarterback. What are they going to do now? All the quarterbacks are left
because the Seahawks wanted Zion Johnson so bad.
That's right.
So there are a bunch of quarterbacks left, and they're going to take one. However, they're not going to take him with this pick. With this pick, they're going to continue to try to get better. Their team needs. Let's go up there.
Okay, it's pretty much everything. It's quarterback, offensive tackle, safety, running back, wide receiver.
Right.
So,
and there are a lot of talented wide receivers on the board right now. There's Chris Olave, the other Ohio State guy. There's Jamison Williams. There's Drake London, the big wide receiver from USC. However, they're not going to do any of that. They are going to take offensive tackle Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa because they need to improve their offensive line. They've basically settled on Jameis Winston as their quarterback of today, not of tomorrow, but of today.
6'7", 325 monster.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Trevor Penning.
Okay. All right. The Los Angeles Chargers need better blockers, and they need some better defensive players. Corner is a thing that's an issue with them, but tight end, offensive guard, edge, that kind of thing. But most of the offensive linemen are pretty much gone.
Yeah.
So I think what they're going to do is simply settle in and say, look, the way the board looks now, we're going to do one of the things we need to do, get a better defensive backfield to make everything work for us. They're going to go and jump and take Andrew Booth Jr., the cornerback from Clemson, to help them win football games. All right, 18.
That's the way I would have gone.
18. Well, he's the best player probably left on the board. At 18, the Philadelphia Eagles are back on the board. The Eagles, they got a wide receiver with their first-round pick. What are they going to do with their second first-round pick?
They're going to go defense this time. And again, they're looking at speed. Speed is what they covet. There are some speedy guys on this board. They could go wide receiver. They could go defense. There are 2 defensive players on this board that I think they would probably like. And the guy they're going to go for, I think, is the number 26 prospect, which is Kaiir Elam, the cornerback from Florida.
Wow. Okay.
Mid-20s rating, but here at 18, at this point now, if you go to Rob Staten's board, I think we're kind of at the point now where we're into guys that are definitely second-round type grades and not first-round type.
Okay, so he's a corner. Trent McDuffie is rated ahead of who's the guy you just gave?
Kaiir Elam.
Kaiir Elam. Where is he? Oh, he's the second-round pick.
Rated as a second round.
All right, but Trent McDuffie is rated as a possible.
Well, that's Rob Staten. I'm not that big on Washington corners at the moment.
Okay, I don't really blame you for that. Okay, so that gives me the New Orleans Saints 19th pick, and they pass on a quarterback the first time around.
The world is their oyster on quarterbacks right now, though.
The Eagles passed on a quarterback that they could have taken. I think they may regret that. The question is, who do they take? Do they take Matt Corral or Kenny Pickett? I think that they're going to take Kenny Pickett of Pittsburgh. I think he's the second-rated quarterback right now, and they're going to grab him. And that leaves the Pittsburgh Steelers with a chance to draft their quarterback of the future if they choose to. I mean, right now, their quarterback room is absolute shite. So
one of their quarterbacks got killed in a car wreck.
Yeah.
No one knows what he was doing out on a freeway, but he got hit on the freeway and was killed.
Yeah.
So they do have a quarterback in mind. They did want Malik Willis very badly, but they didn't get him. So they're going to, I think, surprise the draft. and they're going to select Desmond Ridder, the quarterback from Cincinnati. Now, Ridder is probably the most NFL ready of this group of quarterbacks. I don't think he has a lot to prove. He has a tremendous winning record.
6'3", throws a beautiful
11.
ball. Watched him at the Senior Bowl.
Right.
And this is something that we've done this for years. We didn't have this kind of technology to do it
Right.
10 or 15 years ago. But I went back and looked at stuff we put on the internet
over the years.
Years for NFL draft 2002, and like every player we said we loved, there were like 7 or 8 players. They all went to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
And a big part of what that's based on is the Senior Bowl, which the Senior Bowl. The only thing that matters is practice. The game doesn't matter. That's not true, because the game is a game under pressure in front of scouts against the highest level competition you've ever faced, because 90% of the time, if you're a wide receiver, you got some fat white guy covering you at linebacker.
Yeah.
And, that's not the same as playing against a first-round pick future NFL draft pick. And so it does matter. And he was terrific and showed all the intangibles, I thought, that it takes to be a good quarterback.
I agree. Now, he may not be spectacular at anything, but he's starting quality good probably at everything, but not spectacular at any one thing. And that's, I think, the Steelers. I mean, he also seems like a leader, and I think that's the kind of guy the Steelers are going to want to get.
Right. Okay, so now we have the New England Patriots. They're in their third year now of rebuilding without Tom Brady. They got Mac Jones. They got their quarterback last year. And I would really like to see somebody do an evaluation of Mac Jones versus all of these 2022 quarterbacks.
Yes, I'd love
to really see where he would rate against any of them.
Right.
Because he had probably the best rookie season of any of the quarterbacks. But look, one of the positions that anybody's been taken yet is linebacker.
Yes.
And the Patriots have cut a couple linebackers. They also lost, what's his name, the corner. But I think they're going to take a linebacker.
They cut Dante Hightower, the hero of Super Bowl excellence.
Yes, they did cut him. I don't think they're going to take Devin Lloyd of Utah. I think the guy that they're going to take is Nakobe Dean of Georgia. Wow. I think he's a Bill Belichick kind of player.
That's a reach.
And he goes, no, it's not a reach.
5'11", 229.
I don't know, man. He's a stud hitter. All right.
I am going to the Bills at 25 in the previous.
Now the Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay Packers, I mean, it's obvious, right? It's wide receiver. And right now there's a bushel full of wide receivers. Jamison Williams, number 13,
the Alabama receiver. Devontae Adams for Aaron Rodgers.
He's on the board right now. How tall is Jamison Williams?
I don't know. He's 6'1". Yeah, so he's a Golden Tate size player.
No, he's bigger than that. Yeah. Chris Olave is more of a Golden Tate, Doug Baldwin type guy. He's
Golden Tate was 6 feet. Yeah.
But when I saw Chris Olave's highlight tape, what I saw was definitely a Tyler Lockett type player, a guy who gets into contact with a defensive back and then can make a quick move with his feet and create separation, 3, 4, 5 yards. Very explosive little guy.
Yeah.
But the guy I think they're going to take is, if you would go pull him up, the number 24 receiver.
It's Drake Johnson.
It's Drake London. From USC.
Sorry.
It says here it has him listed at 6'3", but then in the report it says he's 6'5".
He's gigantic.
He's big.
Yeah.
He's big. He's got a wide catch radius. He's fast.
Which you don't need with Aaron Rodgers, by the way.
No. Well, you need it after.
You can put it into a window about that big, about as wide as a football. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers can put it there.
So I'm going to go. I think the Packers are going to go with Drake London as the number 22.
I don't think anybody could argue that. Now the Arizona Cardinals, perennial losers. I'm sorry, Stephanie Lynn Jackson, if you're watching this. They are perennial losers. They're not good enough. They have a whiny QB. They need a lot of things, really. They have some older wide receivers, but I think they're going to wait until the second round on that. And I think that they are going to go for an edge rusher. Now, at first glance, you don't really see any pass rushing edge rusher type guys, but there is one that I absolutely love out of Penn State. He looks spectacular. He gets around the end really fast. His name is Arnold Ebiketie. He's ranked 36 in this particular evaluation, but as you look at the board, he's a 1 to 2. He's a late first round selection on Rob Staten's board. I've watched film of this guy. I absolutely love him. Arnold Ebiketie goes to the Arizona Cardinals to fix their edge rushing problem. Dallas Cowboys. who have gotten rid of wide receivers and, offensive linemen and a lot of people they've cleared out of their roster.
Can we scroll? I don't think we're all the way to the top there.
No,
see, we're not. The Cowboys need a lot. Offensive linemen would be important, but really the strength right now, the defense under Dan Quinn is in pretty good hands.
Mm-hmm.
They've got some spectacular players in Micah Parsons and who's the defensive back? Can never remember.
Well, now see, you made me forget it, but he's a corner they took a couple years ago.
He's a corner they took a couple years ago.
Had 10 interceptions.
10 interceptions and a bunch of pick sixes. It's very good. We forget because we're in our 40s now. I think you're going to take a wide receiver and you're going to go for the best receiver on the board, which right now is Jameson Williams. And that will give them somewhat of a replacement for Amari Cooper.
Okay, Buffalo Bills, looking at a couple different things. Basically, it's defense. They shut up.
Sorry, I'm Buffalo Bills Mafia hitman.
They
whispering in your ear.
They would go for an edge guy here, but they signed. Why am I not remembering this? The Denver guy that went to LA.
Fuck. Turn off the feed.
They
Von Miller.
Von Miller went to the Buffalo Bills already, so they're going to take a corner. I'm so focused on what I'm putting on it. They're going to get Trent McDuffie, the cornerback from Washington, which brings us,
I think that's a good choice,
to the sad sack Tennessee Titans. What are the Tennessee Titans?
Well, the Titans have a lot of options here. They do have a quarterback in Ryan Tannehill,
who's shitty,
who's terrible. There are quarterbacks on the board that could help them. There are also wide receivers. To me, when I look at Tennessee, I think they're a team that needs game breakers or playmakers on both sides of the ball.
Right.
Can we go back to the all? And there are some guys here that could potentially be those kind of players, but I really don't see that game breaker type guy. So I think in that case, what I would do if I was Tennessee Titans, and I am in this for the purposes of this mock draft, I would take a quarterback because there's no guarantee Ryan Tannehill's going to last more than another year because he's their single point of failure right now.
Yeah, Ryan Tannehill.
So I'm going to take a flyer, and I'm going to take a flyer on Sam Howell, the quarterback out of North Carolina, number 30 rated prospect.
Yeah, fuck you. Because I was going to take him
for the Bucks.
No, for a different team.
Okay.
He's a good player, and he's got a lot of athletic ability, and that makes some sense. So absolutely. All right. There's not much question about what Tampa Bay is going to do. They had problems protecting Tom Brady last year. They're going to go with an interior offensive lineman. The best one left is Kenyon Green of Texas A&M.
Pretty much ready.
There you go. The Packers are on. They took a wide receiver with the 22nd pick. Now they're at 28. They need lots of stuff. They need to replace some defensive players, pass rushers they got rid of. What are they going to do?
I think this is a pretty easy pick, actually, for the Packers. There's a guy on the board, defensive tackle from Oklahoma named Perion Winfrey, who had 2.5 sacks at the seems like everybody
Senior Bowl.
At the Senior Bowl. Perion Winfrey. Why don't you pull up his numbers really quick? He's a good-sized guy. I've watched his highlight tape. 6'3", 290.
290. Yeah, he's a John Randall type inside.
He's an impact guy in a 3-4 defense on the front of the line, and I think that's something they could really use. I think they'd be very happy to take Perion Winfrey from Oklahoma.
So that is where they are going to go. Perion Winfrey from Oklahoma. So they go offense, defense. Now the Kansas City
probably
Chiefs
broke your heart, didn't it? The Kansas City Chiefs are.
It did. The Kansas City Chiefs are up. They have two primary needs. They're going to have to replace Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, at safety, and they have a wide receiver. They have the next two picks. Wide receivers end up costing you more than safety, so I think they take the safety first for salary cap purposes, and the guy they're going to take is Lewis Cine.
Are you sure?
Lewis Cine of Georgia over Daxton Hill of Michigan is who they're going to take. Next, boom, they're going to go with a wide receiver, a guy who's lasted too long, a speed guy.
My pick.
They're going to take.
It's my pick.
Fuck you. Who are they going to take?
Chris Olave.
Yeah, thanks. Chris Olave.
Wide receiver from Ohio State.
Possible top 10 pick slides almost all the way to the end. Okay. Now we're back to the Cincinnati Bengals, and they basically
since you tried to steal my pick, I think I should get these last two.
No, that's not true. Right. They have two needs: offensive line and defensive backfield. There are some good corners here. There's going to be some okay corners later on in the draft. I think the guy they go for is Tyler Linderbaum of Iowa, another explosive interior offensive lineman to help protect Joe Burrow.
That will firm up the
weakest point of their team. Okay, now the Detroit Lions are on the clock at 32.
Did they trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars?
They did trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
But they didn't trade the 32 pick. They traded the
34 pick. That's right. So, okay.
So the 32 pick, and again, there's not a lot of guys left here. They do have a quarterback for 3 more years.
They got Aiden Hutchinson. In the first round.
They have a quarterback in Jared Goff. Everyone talks about them needing quarterback. Yeah, you can improve on Jared Goff, but he's a decent quarterback, and he's under contract for 3 years. I don't see how they're going to be able to move away from him. So they're going to, I think, look again at where they could improve their defense. And I'm going to go with Jaquan Brisker, the safety. The other safety, I thought maybe
from
Penn State.
Interesting pick. Okay. 33rd,
We're in the second round now.
In the second round, so now there's only 4-year deals here. Now the Jaguars are back on the board with all kinds of team needs. They have 2 picks in a row because they also have the 34th pick, even though it's going to show the Lions. And they're going to do a couple different things. One of the things they're going to take a big risk and do. Oh,
ring.
Really? You think we can make a trade? Okay, what are we proposing?
The Seattle Seahawks are on the phone.
Oh, they are. Okay.
So you have to pick them first. No, you have to pick them first.
Why? It doesn't matter.
It
gets declined no matter what you do. Okay, and then the Jacksonville Jaguars. So.
And since they have 2 picks in a row, which the computer doesn't know,
you're
going to offer them the 40 pick, the 152 pick, and Pittsburgh's 5th round pick, in 2023 for 433.
Okay.
If this doesn't go through,
I don't know. I don't know what will.
Jesus Christ. That's a great trade. Are you kidding me?
It's so stupid.
Are you kidding me?
I hate the fucking trade thing here. All right. So Jaguars are going to stay here.
By the way, we were going to trade up and take Matt Corral.
That's what we were going to do. But you're not going to have the chance to do that because it won't accept anything. The Jaguars in the first round went with Evan Neal, the offensive tackle. We go offense in the first round. We're going to go defense in the second round to start things off. And I'm not going to wait to see what you do with the 34th pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to
let you take both of them since you're representing the Jaguars.
All right, I'm going to take David Ojabo, the Michigan edge guy. It's probably a little high. He's got a torn Achilles, but he won't
play this year,
he may play very late this year. But
I think that's a little high to take that kind of risk, but a lot of people have him going in there.
And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do something again for the offense, and we're going to look at wide receivers. We're going to look at running backs. Let's go over to Rob Staten's board and look who he's got in the wide receiver tight end category. And the guy that he really likes, Kevin Austin Jr. and or Christian Watson right here. But he also likes Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker. Here's the thing. Dave, who's the Jacksonville Jaguars starting running back?
I don't have any idea.
I don't have any idea. Nobody else does either. So what we're going to do is we are going to take, where is he? Breece Hall from Iowa State is going to go.
First pick. That's about where you take
second pick in the second round.
Yes, in the second round. That's about where you take a running back.
Okay.
In the second.
Okay, so New York Jets, 35th pick. And the Jets already have taken 2 picks in the first round. They went Sauce Gardner, and Charles Cross. So what are we going here?
We're done taking defense.
Wow.
Offense.
Okay.
And there's a guy who slipped significantly who could be a big impact player, and that is linebacker Devin Lloyd of Utah.
Wow.
21 ranked. He's a player who has got some impressive tape. And actually, I'm going to have to make 2 picks in a row here because we got off on our. That should have been your pick.
Okay.
Who would you have taken if you were?
Well, that's fine. You go ahead. So New York Giants. You're up with New York Giants now.
Let's see. The Giants
took Kayvon Thibodeau and Ike Ekwonu.
The Giants need some playmakers.
Yep.
And when you look at this board, there's Christian Watson. There's Treylon Burks, but Staten doesn't like Treylon Burks, right? Is that right?
I believe that's correct. Let's go over and look at his board. Where is Treylon Brooks?
He's got him all the way down in the third round.
Okay. All right. As what? What is he?
As a wide receiver.
Wide receiver.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we're probably going to go with Christian Watson, who is, let's look at his
he's huge.
stats.
He's like
6'4",
6'4", 208.
Big guy, big target for Zach Wilson, who needs.
No, they don't have a quarterback. They have
they have what's his name?
Yeah, Doug Jones. Yeah,
but Christian Watson, big target, which will make it easier for him to hit.
Okay. Now the Houston Texans are up. I would like to trade picks with you. I would give you the Houston Texans pick if I get to make the Jets pick, but that's up to you.
Okay.
So who are you taking if you're the Houston Texans? So far, we've got Travon Walker, the edge, and Derek Stingley, the corner, 2 defensive players out of our 3 for picks now.
This is where you start to see guys taken that are much further down the list on this board than they are on some other ones. Let's go to the Staten board real quick because I know who I'm going to take, but I want to see where he ranks him.
What position?
And I'm looking. I'm not telling you. I'm not talking. Okay. He's got him number 3 at defensive tackle. They're going to take what I think is probably a first-round talent, and that is Travis Jones, a defensive tackle out of Connecticut. And now they have, if you look at the Texans,
they've got 3 new starters for their defense.
And they've got 3
picks in the third.
Well, at least 2 more second-day picks.
Yeah, 2 picks in the third. Yeah, so they're rolling right now.
They're rolling in draft picks. Right?
Okay, the reason that I wanted to do this is because the Jets so far have made 3 picks. They've taken Ahmad Gardner, Charles Cross, the offensive tackle, and Devin Lloyd, the linebacker. I don't object to any of those picks, but what they do need and they don't have is an edge pass rushing guy. There's a guy who's already slid too far. He's pretty far down on this list. He's 45 on this list. If you look at Rob Staten's list on edge, he's got him top of the second round. That's right in a good place to pick him. So I'm going to go
early second.
I'm going to go with Boye Mafe of Minnesota. Is going to go to the Jets. So they now have they're doing some solid roster building here with Sauce Gardner, Charles Cross, Devin Lloyd, and the guy who's the biggest risk out of that is probably Charles Cross. These other 3 guys can start, so they're going to have a much improved defense next year. All right, Chicago Bears at 39. The Bears took Justin Fields, the quarterback last year. Who are they taking now?
They need some help. They need some help all over, and they didn't have a first-round pick. They
traded away?
Yeah. This is their first pick in the draft. And I think they're going to go for a guy that can make some plays. And that is going to be Kenneth Walker III, the running back out of Michigan. State.
Wow. Okay. So now I'm the Seattle Seahawks. And the Seahawks so far have only taken Zion Johnson, the offensive guard. So in order to ensure, I pretty much know who Dave Barrett is going to take. I'm looking for an explosive guy. I'm looking for a pass rusher. I'm looking for a guy who can attack. I'm looking for an edge. But if I go to the edges, the guys that I would have liked in his position are pretty much gone. And I think I can get some edge guys a little bit later.
You can.
In the draft. So I'm looking at an explosive defensive playmaker. And there are guys like Christian Harris from Alabama and Channing Tindall from Georgia. He's kind of small. Guy I love. You know I love him. Leo Chenal from Wisconsin. Explosive, inside, outside linebacker. Makes plays in the backfield all the time. I'm taking him. And now the pick's 41. The Seahawks, again, are picking. Who are they going to take, Dave?
Well, there's an obvious name on the board right now. And there's an obvious need. And here's the thing. The Seahawks have 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks and a third and some other bunch of other picks in 2023. They could try to make
41, 72, 109.
They could try to parlay that 2023 stuff into a quarterback next year. But there's a quarterback on the board
that they like.
And it's pretty well known that they like him. He may not be their number 1 guy, but look, if Drew Lock comes in and is terrible, which
he
most people think he will be.
Right.
You take a guy in the second round this year, you can take a guy at the top of the draft next year. And if that guy turns out to be good, the guy you take this year turns out to be a good player, well, then he's someone you can add into a draft day trade next year. So they're going to select Matt Corral. 18 is ridiculous as far as I'm concerned.
For evaluating him, yeah.
If you look at Staten's board, I think he's got Corral
third round,
as rated as a third round.
Yeah, he's got all the quarterbacks as third round picks.
Yeah.
So
okay. So
all right. So back to the simulator. Now we're on to the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts have taken nobody so far. They didn't have a first round pick, so they got to get this pick right. They can't afford to screw up here. They have some talented players. If we go to team needs, I do want to double check their team needs a little bit. Quarterback, offensive tackle, edge, wide receiver. Again, edge guys, not really.
They acquired Matt Ryan. What do they need a quarterback?
What do they need a quarterback for? Well, that's an old selection. I do think they want to either give him somebody to throw to, or they want to give him somebody to protect him. I look at the offensive linemen. I look at the tackles. I don't really like the tackles that are there, except for one.
There's one I like,
who I think is really underrated, and he's from Washington State. His name is Abraham Lucas. I think he goes right there at 42. Wow. It's about where his value is. Wow. Either that or a wide receiver, but I really think that you gotta protect your quarterback first.
Okay, so let's go to the Falcons.
Because also, wait a minute, because they do have other picks coming up on day 2. They've got 73 still. So anyway.
Let's go to the Falcons at number 43.
Falcons.
They took Jermaine Johnson, the edge.
Yep.
They have a lot of needs. And I think offensive line is something that they could definitely use to improve. Can we just see I want to see the whole board so I can see what all my options are. Thank you.
Your options are shit.
There's a lot of potential out there. I think it's going to be hard for them to resist taking a guy from Georgia, and that is Devontae White. Now, I'm not saying they're going to take him. It's going to be hard for them to resist that. The guy they probably should take is an offensive tackle, but I think it's going to win out. They're going to take the local guy, Devontae White, who's one of the
unsung heroes.
Talked about dudes.
Yeah. All right. Next up is my pick. It's the Cleveland Browns. I don't know how we got screwed up like this, but the Cleveland Browns have not selected anybody yet. They just got Deshaun Watson for a quarterback. They're not going to hesitate. They're going to take a wide receiver. The question is, which wide receiver are they going to take? I'm going to go over to Rob Staten's board. I'm looking at Kevin Austin Jr. is still out there. Christian Watson is not out there. He went already. So I'm going to go with his judgment and go with the wide receivers and take a look at Kevin Watson Jr. He's got him way. Where is this guy? Where is he?
Boy, I would not know.
Where is Kevin Watson?
No.
Is he not there?
No.
Is he not there? No. We didn't already select him, did we?
No. Rob Staten could be crazy.
Kevin Austin.
He could be nuts.
Okay.
So.
He's 6'2", 200 pounds, 33-inch arms, 4.43, 40-yard dash, elite explosiveness. God knows why he's down there. I'm going to trust it. I'm going to go with Kevin Austin from Notre Dame as the wide receiver. Stuff like this happens in the draft every year. It happens.
It does.
Baltimore Ravens at 45. You picked for them previously. You took George Karlaftis. Now what are we looking at?
Let's go to the all, please. And I think what we're looking at here is this is a team that's looking to build on both sides of the line. They do have – can we go to their needs?
Sure. Offensive tackle, offensive guard, or defensive tackle, offensive guard, cornerback, wide receiver.
Yeah, I was going to go offensive line. And the best offensive lineman on the board right now is Tyler Smith of Tulsa, and I think that's probably the pick that they would make. So they're going to go for upfront guys on both sides of the line.
They do. Okay, Tammy, good night. They do have a history of taking guys like that, but again, not very highly rated guard, center type interior lineman or tackle. I just, Staten doesn't agree on the offensive tackle side of things that he's a good player, but we'll see. We will see what happens. All right.
Well, he has him in the third round. I'm taking him at 45 in the second round.
Now back to the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings suck, but they also do have.
Sorry, Blake Wally.
Yeah, the Vikings do suck, but they
could they go Look at the board. Look at your board.
Yeah.
Did they go safety?
No, they won't go safety, but they probably will jump on one of the wide receivers. Treylon Burks is up there. Let's see. There's another guy that Alec Pierce.
Jahan Dotson.
And Jahan Dotson, and I think we'll go with Jahan Dotson of Penn State to team with Justin Jefferson as an outside threat for Kirk Cousins.
So go ahead. The Washington Commanders. Let's see what they took.
The Redskins took Jordan Davis, the defensive tackle, the impact player, the last impact player, really big impact player on the board.
I think they're going to go for the best player on the board right now, and that is safety Daxton Hill from Michigan.
2 defensive players.
They're going to go defense, I believe.
Now the Chicago Bears are back up at it, and they went with the running back at 39. Now I think they're going to look for a defensive edge guy to replace.
No, they've got that guy Chase that we can't think of his last name.
No, that's the Commanders.
Oh, sorry. Yes, you're right.
The Chicago Bears don't have him, so
yeah,
I can't think of his name. So I think they're going to go for an impact pass rushing type of guy. And the fact is that there really aren't any, but the best edge guy left on this board is Drake Jackson. Whereas if you look over at Staten's board on the edge, he's got Adam Anderson. Where does he have Drake?
Sam Williams.
He's got Sam Williams. He's got Drake Jackson.
Way
down in the 3rd round. So I think I'm going to trust Rob Staten on this, and I'm going to look for Sam Williams, the edge rusher for the Chicago Bears. Where is he? 86. We're going to take
on
him.
This board.
Bam, right
This
there.
is where you start to get into the mushy middle of the draft, where the boards are just all over.
Yeah, there's a lot of disagreement.
The CBS Sportsline board has this corner that I was watching for the Seahawks named Josh Jobe from Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
They have him at the number 50 pick overall, 50th ranked player overall.
Right.
And here, Pro Football Network, he's like number 208.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah,
how does that even compute?
Yeah, where is he? He's way down.
Yeah, he's way.
And he was up in the top 50 before Josh Jobe, which is
211.
211, I think, is ridiculous, but we'll see. Okay, so the New Orleans Saints so far have they've got their quarterback in Kenny Pickett. They got an offensive tackle in Trevor Penning. Are they thinking defense?
They are thinking defense, and I think they're going to look for a player that can make an impact on the game. Got to remember, this is a passing league.
Yep.
So you need pass defenders. There are no edges right here to really take. There are some tackles. There's a linebacker, but I think the way they're going to go is they're going to go cornerback, and that's going to be Roger McCreary, the corner out of Auburn.
Let's see where Staten has Roger McCreary. He has him solidly in the second round, so that's a good solid pick. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl team from a few years ago, they took Lewis Sine, the safety, to replace Tyrann Mathieu. They took Chris Olave, the wide receiver. Now what do they need? I think they need some building block pieces. I think they need something, to build around that could really be a talented player, a guy. Yeah, they've rebuilt their offensive line. The best player on the board right now is still a cornerback. It's Kyle Gordon from Washington. Kyler Gordon is going to go there. They've got a safety, they got a corner, and they have a wide receiver that they wanted. So they're doing good. 51, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have already taken Khalil Elam, the cornerback from Florida, and Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver from Ohio State. They didn't get anybody to rush the passer, Dave.
They didn't get anybody to rush the passer, and they also need some beef. But I think the edge rusher demand is going to win out on this one.
Okay.
And I think they're going to select Drake Jackson, the USC edge, because they need
a pass rusher
for speed.
They have a need for speed at that point. Okay, now the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now the Steelers, they got lucky. They got Desmond Ridder, the quarterback. I don't think that's going to be the pick. I think it's going to be a different player. But I do think they're going to take a quarterback at 20. I think it's going to be Sam, what's his name? Sam Howard, the guy you had going to the Titans. Sam Howell is going to be their pick at number 20. Okay. But, they went offense. Now they got to go defense.
They could go though at 55 there.
Yeah, they could very well. That's another thought as well, but that's not typical of what they do. The best players available to them right now is probably Christian Harris, the linebacker from Alabama. So they're going to go build up that defense a little bit since they went offense in the first round. Now the Green Bay Packers, they have their third pick. They took a wide receiver, Drake London, and the defensive tackle, Perrion Winfrey. Still nobody to rush the passer. So what are they going to do?
Well, there's not a lot of pass rushing talent right here at this particular pick. They also have a pick coming up at 59. So I think right now what they're going to do is they're going to look to reinforce their offensive line. And they're going to go back to, just go back to all, please. And there are a couple of guys here. Sean Ryan, the guard from UCLA. I have not seen him rated as highly as he is here. The guy I think is a sleeper is Bernard Raymond, the tackle from Central Michigan. He seems like a Packers kind of guy, and that's the pick for us at 53.
All right, you got to protect Aaron Rodgers.
Must protect the house.
Now I am picking again for the New England Patriots. They took the athletic linebacker Nakobe Dean at 21. Where are they going to go? Well, I think they're going to go another position they could really use some help at, which is actually tight end. They haven't had a great tight end there in a long time. And the guy that I think they're going to go for is not Trey McBride from Colorado State, but the better receiver out of this group is the UCLA tight end. Why can I not find him? Greg Dulcich is going to go too. They're going to try to recreate Rob Gronkowski with Greg Dulcich at 54. 55, the Arizona Cardinals, who went edge rush with Arnold Ebiketie in the first round. What are they going to do?
They have a lot of needs. I think you have to look at kind of best athlete available. Treylon Burks is not it.
Yeah, he's small, right? He's he's 6'2". He's a big guy.
Yeah. I think what they're going to do is they're going to go for a linebacker, and I think the linebacker is going to be Quay Walker from Georgia.
All right.
Who's number?
There he is, 43. Quay Walker from Georgia to help build the defense. Okay, Dallas Cowboys. They took a wide receiver. They lost some edge guys. They lost some offensive linemen. I think, again, we're going to look at the offensive guard, offensive tackle situation. You've got Sean Ryan, who's an inside player. You have Daniel Falele. You have Nicholas Petit-Ferrer. Big guys. You got some centers. Cameron Jurgens is still there. But look, they made a great pick a few years ago when they took the center over Johnny Football back in 2016. Anyway. And I think they're going to do something similar. I'm going to give them Cole Strange, the center/guard from Chattanooga, who can start out as guard and move over to center when and if anybody else retires. Okay, Buffalo Bills. They took the cornerback, Trent McDuffie, out of Washington. What are they going to do next?
Let's see the all again. There's a lot of talent on this board. I think they're going to go. Who did they take him? 50. Who was their first pick?
They took Trent McDuffie, the corner.
I think they need someone up front and they need someone meatier, and they're going to go for, in my opinion, DeMarvin Leal, the defensive tackle from Texas A&M.
All right. Again, keep building the defense. All right. Now we got the Falcons. Falcons have already made 2 picks. They've got Jermaine Johnson and Devontae Wyatt. I think they're going to go offense with this one. They're going to get a wide receiver for their quarterback. They're going to take Treylon Burks right there at 58. Packers are back on the board. They've already made 3 picks. Drake London, the wide receiver. Perrion Winfrey, the defensive tackle. Bernard Raymond, the offensive tackle.
I get to make all the Packers picks
are
today.
They going to do? What are they going to do now?
At 59, they need
Yeah.
They still need more talent. There are 2 very tempting players. One is Trey McBride, the tight end from Colorado State, who is 6'3", 246.
6'4", 260. They're saying
6'4", 260.
Probably what he measured at the combine.
6 passes a game was his average.
No, now you're souring on him.
Or linebacker Chad Muma. But Aaron Rodgers runs this team, so we're going to take Trey McBride, the tight end.
All right, Trey McBride, the tight end, goes to the Green Bay Packers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers took an offensive guard, somebody they needed. Now they're going to go with No, they're not going to go with Troy Anderson. They're going
They're
to go with Alec Pierce, the wide receiver from Cincinnati, who made what's his name? The Cincinnati quarterback looks so good. What's his name? Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati. Okay, 61. The San Francisco 09ers get their first pick in the draft.
The 49ers, they need to level up everywhere. They didn't have a first-round pick. Or did they?
No, they don't have a first-round pick. They traded it away for Trey Lance, and they're having a lot of contract issues with Deebo Samuel. So there's a lot of problems in San Francisco. A wide receiver would make some sense here, but who is really there that you like as a second-round pick?
Not there. Go back to the all, please. That's where I get my information from. They need some impact, and they need some impact on defense. And I think they're going to look for a guy that can make some plays. And it could be Chad Muma, although he played at Wyoming out in the West. Troy Anderson played in the Big Sky. But Troy Anderson is a guy who's been coming up on a lot of boards. 6'3", 243, straight line explosiveness. I think he's a guy that could plug into the middle of their defense, and he could have an impact. Second level guy. So I'm going to go with Troy Anderson, the linebacker.
For the 09ers. Yes. Okay. Kansas City Chiefs are back on the board. I made Lewis Cine as the pick. You took Chris Olave. I took Kyler Gordon. That's only one offensive player, two defensive players. If you look at the overall, it's pretty wide open here. I'm really tempted to take a certain player that I really, really like here. I mean, I really like him. But I think this is also a situation where you can't pass up athleticism. And there is a guy, linebacker, that is incredibly athletic. He's rated as 102 on this board. I think if we look over at Staten, we look at the linebackers, he's a top of the second round pick. He's from Georgia, great defense. His name is Channing Tindall. And I think they're loading up that defense for a championship run. Right. Bengals, the Super Bowl participant Bengals, got their offensive lineman in the first round. It's now 63. What else are they going to do? There is a corner here that just really is really, really highly regarded by a lot of people that probably should be gone by now.
And that's
there's Tariq Woolen, and then there's Jalen Amore Thomas. If you go to the corners, Jalen Amore Davis, who is just certain people love. I think if we look at the Staten board for corners, he's got Jalen Amore Davis as the fifth best corner in this draft. Tariq Woolen is down at the bottom of the second round, which is where we're drafting. So it's your call.
I really like Jalen Amore Davis. I like what I've seen of him.
But what are you going to do for the Cincinnati Bengals?
I still would like to see something on the offensive line. Okay. But the talent, at least on this board, doesn't really appear to be there. But maybe they take a long shot. They're picking at 63. Maybe they take a guy that is simply gigantic. 6'8", 384.
Yep.
Daniel Falele.
Crushes people. Could be a right tackle that could crush people, or even a guard.
From the University of Minnesota.
Wow. Yeah. I think offensive line would not. And now the last pick in the second round of this mock draft, the Denver Broncos, the Russell Wilson led Denver Broncos. Man, it makes me want to puke. I think that what you have to look at is supporting Russ on the offensive side of the ball. You could take a tight end, but Russ never throws to the tight end.
That's right.
So that's not going to work. So I think what you're looking at here is you're going to look at the wide receivers to pick up. And again, if you look over at Rob's board, wide receivers that he likes, I think there are some guys that have not gone yet. And one of them is a guy that I do like. Wendell Robinson is his name. We're going to slide down. He's listed as 118 here.
Let's see his numbers.
Yeah, I mean, Rob Staten has him in the second round.
5'8", 178. Now, to me, this is a Doug Baldwin, Tyler Lockett type
of guy. And they're going to give him some speed. They give somebody to Russ to throw to. I think I'm going to take him because I think he's a value. So that's the end of the draft. The full results for the various teams: Evan Neal, Hayden Hutchinson, Travon Walker. The Seahawks picked Zion Johnson, my pick, at number 9 to shore up the interior of their offensive line, which sucks. Then the Seahawks took Leo Chenal, again, my pick, the linebacker, to improve the defensive front 7. Matt Corral, the quarterback. Overall, what do you think of how the Seahawks did in this draft, Dave? I got to say, I'm not sure I'm wild about it so far.
It's a mixed bag for me. I would not take Zion Johnson at number 9. I would trade down and consider him if I was picking a Pittsburgh spot. If Pittsburgh traded up to get, say, quarterback.
Matt Corral.
Not Matt Corral, the other quarterback.
Malik Willis.
Leo Chenal's a player I like. I'm not sure I like him at 41 or 40. I think he might be gone. Matt Corral at 41. I think that's a good fit. At number 9, I probably would have gone corner. I probably would have gone Derek Stingley Jr. But,
well, at any rate, they got their biggest need was quarterback, and they snuck in and got a decent one that maybe has a future at 41. So it did work out. And, basically, I think that I think I'd be very dissatisfied with that draft because I really want Baker Mayfield to be our quarterback. If Baker Mayfield was the quarterback, if they made a trade for him, then I'd be great with Zion Johnson because it protects the interior of the offensive line. And Baker is somebody who can be effective if he has time.
Yes.
And right now, their offensive line is a shambles.
Yes,
so
I agree.
All right, guys, that will do it for our mock draft 2.0 for the Seattle Seahawks. It would really help if we could remember the names of veteran players who've been forgotten, but that's disappointing. But I will be back tomorrow on Mike Barra 333 and Mike Barra 3 and Mike Barra 2 and Rumble on Real News Live with the Tell the Truth Wednesday broadcast with Jen. It should be very, very interesting stuff. Dave, do you have any final words?
Just we'll be back before the draft with a 7-round Seahawks mock where the computer will very rapidly fill all the other slots for us and offer us trades. And we're going to be co-general managers in that one.
That one, right.
But
we're going to trade picks.
But Mike will
flip a coin and trade picks. Why are you yelling?
I'm not.
You're yelling?
Am I yelling?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
All right, for the Seahawk boys, that's it. We'll see you guys tomorrow on Real News Live. Thanks, Dave. We're done.